Hello, welcome to a new hour here on Fox Weather. You're watching Weather Command. I'm Stephen Morgan, and the latest advisory just coming in from the National Hurricane Center. And Melissa, already one for the history books, likely a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane barreling toward Jamaica. Melissa now taking the spot for the lowest pressure in the Atlantic on record this late in the year. The previous record, coincidentally, also on October 27th, but back in 1998. That was Hurricane Mitch, where it was able to achieve a remarkably low pressure of 910. But you see the stats behind me. Melissa has now plummeted down to 908 millibars. And those winds being notched up just a little bit from the National Hurricane Center. It's a powerful storm, and it could maintain its intensity as it moves toward Jamaica. At the top of the hour, we want to bring in Fox Weather hurricane specialist Bryan Norcross, looking over the latest forecast. Bryan, it's a concerning one. Yet again, we have this storm that could very well maintain its Cat 5 intensity as it approaches land.
Yeah, and Stephen, even if it doesn't, what that probably means is that it will grow bigger. And in actual fact, a bigger storm that's Cat 4 is worse overall because more areas are affected by the wind than even a smaller storm that's Cat 5. But in any case, all this is catastrophic for the areas that are going to get this. They measured, so the Air Force hurricane hunters out there flying through the storm along with the NOAA P3 you discussed earlier about the fact that P3 had such violent turbulence in the southwestern Eyewall that they departed the storm. Usually they do that just to be sure that there's nothing wrong with the aircraft. But the Air Force hurricane hunters dropped these instrument packages down through the storm, and they're to measure the pressure. But they also this time dropped it in the Eyewall, and they measured 240-mile-an-hour winds at elevation. But this just informs you on what the mountainous areas in Jamaica could experience. Now, won't be quite that because it will be inland to some degree, but incredible winds up above the ocean. I mean, matching the spectacular Category 5 winds on down at the sea surface. So 165 miles per hour is the measurement from the hurricane hunters, just creeping along at 3 miles per hour. And because the water is so warm and deep there, it's stirring up water, which may be holding it back a little bit, believe it or not. But there is very warm water underneath. So the analysis by the scientists that look at this is, yes, they may get some cooling from the slow movement, but not a lot. On 908 millibar pressure, just incredible. All right, there's the close-up on it, and you can make out that it's leaning a little bit left. Actually, the Google model has shown that before it would do that and then turn back on up into the southwest coast of Jamaica, and then a corridor on across that island. But I guess a little bit of good news overall. I mean, the people that are going to be in the way of this, it's just hard to imagine. But Kingston will be not in the worst of it, it looks like. But the heavy rain is already moving into the island, and we're kind of blocked there because there are mountains right in there that the radar doesn't go over, so the moisture actually goes farther. Here you can see, obviously, the eye. And if you look at that really closely, you can kind of make out the green area trying to move around the eye. That might be an indication that there is an outer wall trying to form, which would be the storm expanding and maybe weakening a little and then contracting back again. There's still plenty of time before landfall for that to happen. That just moves the most dangerous part of the storm farther away from the center, farther in the direction of the capital and the population concentration, of course. So there is how big the storm is analyzed to be by the National Hurricane Center. These are 40-plus mile-per-hour winds now encompassing all of Jamaica, especially at elevation. Now, some areas are blocked, obviously, but a lot of mountains there, a lot of wind now just moving in. But this is where the heart of it is, and the core of the storm is down in there, where it's where the hurricane force sustained winds are, and then less than that for the spectacular Category 5 winds. All right, let's go forward in time. So here we are this morning, and by this evening, you see it doesn't move a whole lot, but it's moving in the direction of Jamaica by this time. There are the hurricane force winds, and then the super strong winds are in a smaller area inside that. Well, 165 is forecast for this evening. Going to tomorrow morning, just about landfall time, 8 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 7 a.m. local time there. Forecasting 160, but this is very plus or minus depending on those inner workings inside the hurricane. But there you can see where the hurricane force winds are. Remember, the winds are blowing onshore here. Kingston metropolitan area right on the edge of that. So winds, as of right now, don't seem to be the issue in Kingston. But remember, all this is plowing moisture into these mountains that all has to run downhill, some of it through the capital, through gullies in the capital, and drain out at the same time that the wind is pushing the Caribbean seawater up into the harbor, holding back the drainage. So this is for the big part of the population center there. This is going to be the threat, more from the rain than from the wind. But on this side of the country, I mean, this looks devastating, and for maybe Mandeville in the middle of the country there, right in here, maybe Ocho Rios looks like it's going to get very hard hit. Montego Bay would be on the back side of the wind, but that's pushing water into Montego Bay. So we'll see how these various harbors fare here on either side of the storm based on what we know now. And then moving north, it obviously going to weaken over the mountain some, but still a strong hurricane moving north. Very high confidence in the track. Everybody agrees, Google, European, and Hurricane Center all on the same track there. There's the width of the Google swath, so you can see that it would be just a very low odds chance of the storm getting over super close to Jamaica. This is a very high confidence forecast right now. But we do have the storm surge up to 13 feet. Likely that 13 feet would be over closer to the track, would be in here and in these bays. You see all these bays. The whole southern coast is kind of scalloped in Jamaica. So the bay catches the water, and then the water gets funneled up onto the coast in those bays. So out here, the winds won't be so strong. How will the airport do that's in Kingston Harbor? It's hard to tell because it's a close call now with the storm forecast to come ashore way out here. But hopefully they'll get through that. But the water problem of drainage through the city is a whole different problem. Rainfall, of course, spectacular. The most extreme will be, remember the track is through here, most extreme will be on the right side of the track, but then it comes around this way. So you have pockets of rain, and look, we're up in the feet range here. Also in the very high mountains here outside of Kingston. Exactly how all this drains, I don't know, but you have all these mountains up in here. Everything that catches has to come down somewhere down into the Caribbean Sea. So daunting prospect here. It all begins later today, so through tonight and through tomorrow. And then the question is, how many areas are going to be cut off? I assume that significant number of communities, there will be no access to them with no communications and so forth. And some communities near the coast could be destroyed by this storm surge. There are, like Treasure Beach is right there on the coast, and they can't deal with 13 feet of storm surge if that's indeed what they get right there. So anyway, a daunting situation, and maybe a record-setting situation in the tropics, certainly record-setting for Jamaica. Guys?
Yeah, and record-setting as
Stephen?
we tackled at the top of the hour, Brian. I mean, from the pressure reading right now down to 908 millibars. I'm wondering from this approach, and you had referenced when we talked to you a couple of hours ago, Hurricane Flora. But from this approach, I mean, with the northeast bend that eventually we'll see Melissa make, for Mandeville, I mean, that could be the worst case scenario. Somewhere along that coast, we're going to see a 13-foot storm surge most likely.
Yeah, well, Mandeville is in the mountains. It's one of the few places that is not, right at the coast there. But the winds will be higher in the mountains, so it's daunting. Remember, the 165 is at the ocean surface. And then when you get up on the land, then you start weakening it a little bit, but the winds aloft continue. That's why the Hurricane Center is saying whatever they're forecasting at the ocean, 30% higher at the higher elevations. And it does look like Mandeville is in the way. It's not the highest elevation, but it's not at the lowest elevation either. But there are those beach communities there in all those bays along the south coast of Jamaica that bear to be just devastated by this event here. It's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Yeah, less than 24 hours away. And I mean, not that it matters, still a window to strengthen a little bit. We could maybe see this thing get higher.
Yeah, there's no reason it wouldn't, except for the Eyewall replacement cycle process, and whether there's time for that to be completed. Remember that it forms a bigger eyewall, the inner eyewall dies out, and then that outer eyewall shrinks, and you get a bigger, stronger storm. But that takes time, and it seems like right now there's time. If it starts it, we may have a stronger hurricane when it's over, but if it delays until tonight to start that, and this is not well understood exactly what the mechanism is that gets this process really going, then it may run out of time and be at a weaker state when it came ashore, but as a bigger hurricane.
Yeah, and we can't overstate the power of it alone, because not often do we hear hurricane hunters in flight and there being such severe turbulence. And I don't know, do you make anything of it being in the southwestern section of the eyewall? We think of where the winds are the strongest, and that would be in the northeastern quadrant. But the fact that it was in the southwestern quadrant, am I splitting hairs here?
Well, I think, first of all, that the thing is very circular. It's essentially an annular kind of hurricane. So you have that. But also, remember that the P3s have fancy radars on them. So usually they can avoid this. And maybe for whatever reason, they didn't avoid it. It surprised them. So I don't think it has to do with where it is in the storm. More, they got surprised by something they weren't expecting based on, all of the resources they have to really see the details of where the worst part of the hurricane is.
Yeah, certainly. With it being the structure that it is, it's powerful around that entire eyewall. All right. Well, much more to watch throughout the afternoon. Right. Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist Bryan Norcross, appreciate your analysis once again.